In this video, I just want to talk to you about relationships, and relationships can be very tough. They can be very tough. It's just different. We have different personalities, we have different upbringing, different experiences, different, maybe it's different cultures. There's just so many different, maybe it's ages, gender. There's just so many differences. And we get into relationships and we think that, we're right, we're perfect, that we're understanding, that we're good listeners, that we're good communicators. We think all these different things when we get into relationships. We don't realize that we're not really as good as we think we are, and so we just gotta, in relationships, you gotta realize that people are different, and it's okay. We gotta celebrate people's differences. We have to realize that we don't do things the same way, and that's okay. A lot of times we think that we do a thing a certain way and everybody does it the exact same way. Or we think that our way is the right way and that the other person's doing it is the wrong way. But we got to be open to other people and the way they do things. We got to realize that there is multiple ways to do things, and there's multiple right ways to do things. Just a personal preference. We got to look at, if somebody does it different from us, it's okay. We got to look at, we don't have to do things the same way. There's just different ways that things can be done. We need to, when we're in relationships, we got to be careful that we understand that people are different. We need to, if we have a disagreement, we need to be able to say what needs to be said. And a lot of times we run away from it. I hear it all the time. I don't like conflict. I just didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to upset anybody or hurt anybody's feelings. But we can say things with respect, right? We can say things in love. But we've got to be able to say what needs to be said. It hurts us more when we don't say what needs to be said. And sometimes we don't say what needs to be said, and it's exactly what the other person needs to hear. So just make sure that, you're thinking about it. Okay, how can I say this? What's the right way to say this? That I'm saying this without the emotion, where, if you're angry or upset, scared, that you've taken the emotion out and that you're saying it with respect. We want to speak the truth with respect. We want to be able to listen. A lot of times we want people to listen to us. We want to say all these different things, but we don't want to listen. We got to listen, not to be to jump in and say what we want to say afterwards, but listen so that we can understand the other person's point of view. We got to listen so we'll understand what they're saying. What are their viewpoints, and so a lot of times we filter things out based on who we are, not as things really are, but as who we are. And so sometimes we got to grow so we can understand things better. We can listen and understand better. Remember, it's two people in a relationship, and both people in a relationship have wants and they have needs. And so we got to listen to understand. We got to listen so that we're able to meet the needs. We're able to respect the other person. We're able to, understand. A lot of times we don't understand. We're just so busy. We got to say this. We got to get our words out. We got to say what we need to say, but we've missed completely what the other person was saying to us. And all they're saying is, I want to be heard. I want you to listen to what I'm saying. I want to be understood. I want you to just take the time to give me a chance to say what I have to say. And everybody doesn't communicate the same way. So we got to be open to us being wrong. We got to be open to them being wrong, but we got to make sure that we're understanding, that we're listening. Things can easily be misinterpreted, especially via email or text message. So we got to make sure that we're stepping back and taking a second. And sometimes a lot of back and forth on text message or email just requires a phone call. We can kind of clear up some of the misunderstandings if we're talking over the phone, or in person is even better, because we can read the person's body language. When I think about filtering messages when we're communicating, we got to be honest with ourselves that we're filtering. I think about the Brita, the water filter, where, the water filters through the water filter in order to, kind of clean the water, some of the toxicities and impurities out of the water. And we do the same thing when we take in a message. We're taking in a message, but we're taken away from the message based on our own experiences, our own knowledge, our own upbringing, our own culture. We just look at it from our own lens. And so we got to be careful that we are stepping back and saying, okay, What is this person really saying to me? Do I understand? Have I asked questions to clarify? Have I tried to paraphrase what they're saying? And oftentimes we just take it in. We see the worst in somebody. If it's somebody we don't care too much about, or we don't know, we take in the worst. We filter it through a negative lens, but we got to make sure we're stepping back and asking ourselves, what is this person really saying to me? And then how do I need to respond? And think about it for yourself. You want to be listened to. You want people to understand you. And that can only happen if we've taken a step back. We've put the cell phones down. We've turned off the ringers, all the beeping that happens. We've turned off the email, and we've given this person our full attention so that we can understand, so that we can have empathy towards this person. So just something to be thinking about in relationships. It's a two-way street, and so both people deserve to get their needs and their wants fulfilled.